I guess there's a couple questions today that relate to the Michigan primary. One is how much of a protest vote there will be against Joe Biden at the behest of Rashida Tlaib because of Biden's lethargy in their minds in pushing for a pro-Hamas ceasefire in Gaza. That's one issue.
Do you want to hear from one Palestinian Detroiter who's like, nope, I will never, ever vote for Biden ever again?
How disappointed are you with the Biden administration?
I am heartbroken. I am so hurt that it's a feeling of betrayal.
She voted for Mr. Biden in 2020, but now
there is a widespread underground campaign of Arabs, of Muslims, where we cannot morally support President Biden.
So if not President Biden, would you vote for former President Trump?
No.
So who would you vote for?
I would write in on the ballot, ceasefire, free Palestine.
Even though that could potentially give the election to former President Trump?
If things don't change, then I have no choice.
I don't think ceasefire is going to be our next president, but, I get the protest vote. I mean, that happens in a lot of constituents on a lot of different issues, sure. You feel a betrayal. I mean, think about the people who wouldn't vote for George Herbert Walker Bush in 92 because he broke his no new taxes pledge, for example. It happens. I don't know how much it'll show up today, but, I mean, it could be important come November in a state that, don't forget, Trump won in 2016 narrowly, lost by a few points in 2020. But right now, according to the RCP, RealClearPolitics.com average, he's up a few points. He's up outside the margin of error in Michigan. So, if that attitude persists in a close election and Trump were able to put Michigan back in play, well, that certainly expands the map to Trump's benefit, doesn't it? Something else before we get to our next guest, I wanted to raise as potentially more reflective of the discontent of the electorate in metropolitan areas, Detroit being one of them. And that's consistent across virtually every metropolitan area in America these days. The story of Frederickson's Hardware in San Francisco.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Frederickson's Hardware. So you've seen the plexiglass and everything being locked up at convenience stores to prevent the endemic retail theft in big city America. Frederickson's Hardware in San Francisco is taking it a step further.
For a few hours every day, this is what you'll find entering Frederickson's Hardware and Paint in Cow Hollow. The table alerts customers to wait for assistance at the door, a move that's being attributed to, quote, rampant shoplifting.
It's pretty bad. I mean, the dollar amounts are pretty significant, and with the tools, and now we're getting snatch and grabs where they come in and take whole displays. So it's getting kind of dangerous for the employees and the customers.
Store manager Sam Black says for 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the evening, an employee will work with an individual customer. The table serves as a way to keep potential thieves from moving freely in and out of the store.
We just want to make it uncomfortable for the thieves so they go somewhere else.
Black says over his 24 years of working at Frederickson's, the theft is the worst it has ever been. Staff has had to drill down pots and pans to keep shoplifters from swiping them. They've also had to put in locking systems to keep people from pocketing tools and other household hardware. One customer telling KRON 4 off camera that the situation is just sad.
Yeah, people aren't happy. The regulars just, they can't believe it. Like we can't believe it, but, they've been really understanding.
Black says he and his staff had to try something because they had not much success getting help from city leaders or the police. At this point, the one-on-one shopping experiment has been going on for 3 weeks. Black says they'll review the results after a month.
Just had to do something.
Next up, it's going to be you enter the store and you're facing down the barrel of a shotgun. How can I help you? This is the lunacy of it when you just give in to lawlessness in every conceivable way. And I think that's a story that will persist through November. And it certainly, I suspect, will be impactful in the Detroit metro area, but let's get an expert opinion on that. Nolan Finley is the conservative editorial page editor of the Detroit News. He joins us now. Nolan, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Thank you all. I appreciate being with you.
What about that story of the hardware store out of San Francisco and how much that rings true, how much that's part of the conversation in suburban Detroit, say?
Well, in Detroit, in Detroit, we're fortunate, I guess, in a strange way. We don't have a whole lot of retail downtown.
Yeah, well.
So, we're still coming back. Excuse me. But, and you haven't seen it really here the way you have other places. And I think we've done probably a much better job here of prosecuting crime. And so if you prosecute retail crime, you get less shoplifting. I think that's a simple formula that people in other places seem to have forgotten.
Well, right. But I mean, sort of the combination of the general lawlessness that's been endorsed by the left's power structure in this country, which certainly would include the Eva Peron of East Lansing, as I like to call her, and it's not just indigenous individuals, American citizens. It's also with respect to suborning people that have come into this country illegally. And I just wonder how much that plays with sort of swing working class voters in Michigan as they think about Biden versus Trump.
I think voters here, immigration is one of the top issues, even though we haven't had a migrant surge here. For some reason, Governor Abbott's not busing migrants up here, and we probably could use a few to fill some of the jobs we have vacant. But regardless, I mean, people are upset about what they've seen at the border. People just walking across the border as if the line doesn't exist. And I think they're fed up with Biden's lack of attention on this issue. I mean, the administration treats the border just as it treated inflation, and just as it's treating Biden's age and frailties, just trying to spin it away. What you see, don't believe your eyes. What you see isn't real. You're really doing better. We've got the border under control, no crisis, and the economy's booming. They keep spinning reality, and voters aren't buying it. I think voters are really tired of this, and that's why I wrote this morning is, you've had 87% of the electorate in January saying we don't want a Trump-Biden rematch, and here we're looking straight dead at a Trump-Biden rematch. And this is a failure of the partisan system in America, where the politics simply isn't working when they give America this sorry choice again for the second election in a row.
Well, how embarrassing is this going to be for Biden tonight? I mean, if people put in ceasefire or write in uncommitted, like Rashida Tlaib was begging people to do on social media, your governor seems a little nervous. She's tweeted out, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris fight like hell for us. Let's do the same for them by voting like hell in the presidential primary today.
Isn't she clever?
Yeah, she's great.
Oh, yeah.
What a mastermind you have there, the governor.
It could be if it gets up around 20, 25, 30% of the vote. I don't really expect it to get that high because, reaching voters with this sort of campaign takes a whole lot more resources than this group has had. What I worry is that the percentage will get high enough that it'll start to affect administration policy towards Israel. I think you've already seen some wobbling on behalf of Joe Biden and the administration toward Israel, and I worry that it'll send the wrong message to the administration. I think as much as anything, this is about his overall performance, not simply his approach to the Mideast conflict. And I believe if there were another viable challenger on that ballot, you wouldn't need this protest vote. I think they would be beating the time out of Joe Biden.
Trump was rallying at the faithful in Waterford Township last week. I wonder if it has the same feel it did in 2016. Do you think in this environment, if it is the Biden-Trump matchup that's anticipated, Trump can win Michigan again?
I was there Saturday night, and yeah, there was that feel. A little different audience, though. I mean, a little, lot of young people there, which you didn't see in the past. I think there were a lot of probably first-time Trump voters there. I don't know. I think Michigan's going to be a hard win for him, but it's not really about Trump here. It's about Joe Biden and the discontent with his presidency. I think there will be a huge anti-Biden vote come this fall, or lack of a vote come this fall. And the question is whether people take their frustration with Joe Biden out in a way that causes them to vote for Trump, or if they just simply don't vote on the presidential ticket or vote for a third-party candidate. I think we're going to see unprecedented numbers of ticket splitters or presidential abstentions this fall, and a record number of third-party votes. I think if No Labels gets its act together and gets a candidate on the ballot, you very well could see a third-party candidate win here, or at least have a huge impact on the outcome.
Nolan Finley, conservative editorial page editor of the Detroit News. Nolan, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Have a good day.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Amy Jacobson here for Willows Academy. You've heard us talk about Willows Academy in Des Plaines on the air before, but there's nothing better than